What is up? Hello, everybody. We are here. We are live. We are ready to dive into the ECAC Match Point Finals. I am so graciously thankful for this opportunity. I have been back and forth here for absolute months. It has been months here getting this put together, right? So the fact that they hold on. I'm not representing correctly. Hold on. Point blank. Let's get that shit on. All right, there we go. That's looking fly. That's looking fresh. All right. I have worked for the last few months to get this put together, right? Getting the opportunity to watch party this event is a huge blessing. And so, first off, before we even jump into anything, massive shout out to ECAC Esports. I've worked with them in the past, previously on different games as a caster directly. This time around, I'm going to be watch partying here on my channel, but I will say this, and I'll say it again throughout the stream. If you are interested in catching the action directly, a main broadcast, a traditional cast, down below, especially if you're on Twitch or wherever, you can check them out at ECAC_capital Esports, all right? And that will be a place at that. Also, a huge shout out to PD First. He is a proponent of ECAC, similar to what I do over at Octane. He also does for ECAC recently, and I want to give him a shout out. He's tagged down below as well. If he's live or whatever, give him a little follow, give him a little love. We're here to support the collegiate scene as much as possible. Other than that, folks, welcome. We got Match Point Finals on the board here. Limbo, Enlighten, Awazek, you're poopy. Thank you for joining, chat. Thank you for being here right off the bat. Will this Match Point Finals be remotely competitive? All right. So let's get it under the way. Speed Demon, welcome. Good to see you at that. Let me crack open my off-brand, my citrus rush. Let's go, Cumberland. Let's go, Cumberland. They are the form factor favorites of today behind the University of Southern Mississippi. And we'll get into that in a second. That's a dang good soda. All right. So those of you who have been watching for a while are probably more consistently, at least in the know with Octane. So what is ECAC? Well, Octane is just one collegiate competition, right? It is the primary one to represent Apex Legends as it hosts the most amount of teams and the biggest variance of skill sets across all of those teams. But there are other leagues and organizations that do host Apex competitions. One of those who has been around here for quite a few years is ECAC. Now, they are a smaller Apex competition at that, and as a result, we do have some maybe larger variance here among the teams, and that's why you saw earlier, did ask, will this Match Point Finals be remotely competitive? We're here to find out. The stakes are on the line, right? And we have a plethora of teams that could be, at least interesting. Oh, before we jump into it any further, to much ado, you guys ask how he's doing. Here's the update of the day. Welcome back, Gravity. Kaiser on top. We'll see. Lewis is as cool as a cucumber. There he is. He got a new pen. I took him out of the little shoot box, and now he has built himself his condo. As you guys can see up there, we do have the new sub emote goal. I would love to get some Lewis emotes. I know you guys love Lewis as much as I do. So as he sits there cleaning himself, which I'm very proud to see, he's learning good kitten habits right now. Look at that. He's learning how to, look at that. He's learning how to take care of himself. His toy is bigger than him. I'm going to cry. That's Lion. He loves to fight lion. Anyways, we got the game starting soon. So let's jump on over to the scoreboard for now, because that's where we're going to get our first impression of the majority of these teams. It is a 3-map series. We will be starting 1-1-1, and then we will be reversing on Snake. So we'll go 1 map, 2 map, 3 map, and then we will repeat those maps backwards. The exact format and direction, it was told to me, but I failed to keep it on the mind. And dang, beyond that, I wish I could read these names a little bit better out to you guys, but I know for a fact that Southern Mississippi is the first seeded team coming out of ECAC. For those of you who don't know Southern Miss, they do play in Octane, represented usually by the likes of Dallas, Theozen, Vizay, and Mank. They are a previous Octane champion and are here today to see if they can prove the same in fall of this season of ECAC. Just behind them in the second seed, by the way, as we look at E-District, they're right next to each other, Cumberland. While Maple does not join alongside this roster, you will see the familiar faces of Zach W. Keys, Slasher, and Sykin to represent for them. Those are the two heavy hitters. When we talk about how are things going to fall, who might be walking away with the match point dub today, those are definitely the rosters that everyone is looking at. Beyond that, we do have in the third seed, the MSU Mavericks, Minnesota State, of course, Schmalz, Gravity, and Speed Demon. They've been around for a hot minute and a half here, and while there have been some growing pains for the roster, you can't grow anymore. Now this is your opportunity to shine. You're either making it happen or you're squandering your opportunity here. So while they've lost out on Trev Michi due to some mismatches on the roster, they've had to put this one together for the very, very end and are still, I would say, ultimately very competitive compared to most of these other teams. Beyond that, we start getting into Purdue Black, who was a previous winner of ECAC as that 4th seed. You'll recognize some of the individuals on that team, such as Tharquisha, as well as Waki. Of course, beyond that, we start to get a little bit less informed when we talk about our history here with a lot of these squads. You've seen the St. Clair Saints. You will recognize Rusty and Lucky. UB has made their way through things like Octane before, right? We've got MCE Apex, who are also going to be a couple of familiar faces. But as we go down this list, a lot of what you will see and learn today is how new they are, and I guess more importantly than that, how many of these rosters we maybe don't know. So, ultimately, I mean, it's an open book. This is where ECAC writes its history here, and we start to establish, who knows, what might become the best in Apex. But skill discrepancy is that. I'm going to take a little sip of my soda. Something to note is that yesterday we did have like an unofficial scrims. I'm going to check that and see if there was any like definitive, because like we have semifinals. Hey, good morning, Misplays. We got the semifinals lobbies, which are important because that's ultimately where the majority of our teams establish and come through to compete here. The likes of PSU, Days, VRez, awful you guys, Catawba Esports, W&M, right? They, top 3 this out. OCCC, no major wins on the board there except for the one, but they are followed by the likes of Williamson Gold, Kaiser University coming out of the semifinals, and so that's where they'll be coming from. Lewis is dead. Good job. Also doing Core Keeper without you. K, bye. All good. All good. The farmer will return to his farm on another day, Mr. Big Payback. Anyways, beyond that, Sunday night scrims, oh boy. Yeah, the Sunday night scrims were a choice and a half. The best team coming out of it that does play in ECAC was Cumberland University, as you can see there. But the mix of everyone else is kind of W&M Esports, a little bit of a surprising establishment there. They did finish 3rd coming off of that semifinals one, so they're not the biggest slouches, but it was a little surprising to see Purdue Black as far down as they were. Something to note, though, is that this roster with Darquisha typically sees Waki, etc., so not exactly the biggest representation. Shout out to Southern Miss dropping 211 points. Hold on. What is this? What is this? What is this? Okay, and why is there 9 games? Week 7, 9 games, 4 wins, 2 third-place finishes, an 8th, a 5th, and a 14th kind of knock them down a peg. But holy, oh my gosh, what am I looking at? Theozen, Thalos, and Viz represent directly, making up, what is that? 80 to 112 points across the board. But that is a weird stat line. There's Cumberland. Oh, look, there is W&M. Is there Purdue in here? No. All right, W&M's not bad. I'm beginning to learn this as I go through these. I wish I had some level of interpretation to help you out there, Wizard. But, you know what? We're riding it. And there's Purdue Black. Oh, there's just various lobbies. Huh. What is that match quality? I'm dead. Well, let's look at the semifinal lobbies. All right, it was a 4.63. And, oh, the 7.5. 7.5. That kind of makes sense, though. This one was a 2.61. Better than Octane. Better than Octane. Welcome, Coco. Welcome, FPS Aether. Welcome, Wizard, of course. Over under 4.5 games tonight. Over. I think we finish in 5. Exactly 5 games tonight. I think that's where we're at in my prediction. Let's get the first prediction going then. Match quality, game 1, over under 6.0. All right. Over under. You guys got 5 minutes to get that in. Over under. USM is my homies, so expecting to sleep. Cheering for anyone but those two. Make it entertaining. Yeah, I feel like that's the reigning, at least the not discussion, but like the general flavor of everyone's opinion. It's like everyone knows that USM and Cumberland are going to do well. We'll see how it goes. Make another fundraiser. I need to dump my points. What kind of fundraiser do you want? Another tournament? What are we thinking? I'll be honest with you. I'm happy to do another fundraiser. Only problem is I need to figure out exactly what and how and for. You know what I mean? He fell asleep. Hey! My goat, Coco, thank you so much. Excellent job. Great job for you. Thank you so much. Coco, great job. For Lewis, there you go. We're one moat there. We're moving your farm and moving it because of the random raids. It's annoying, but you'll deal. For those of you who don't know what the heck that means. Ah! 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 I'm sure the farm will be fine. I worked hard on making that farm. I worked hard on making that farm pretty. Get your bets in. VLR Cam, thank you for the follow. Coach Claypool, by the way, this is Cumberland's first semester competing in Apex. We're excited on how the season has gone for us. Welcome to Apex Legends. The Cumberland squad has done just as well as everyone has expected, but now we're in the situation where they've got to put up results. Hey Zephyr, we're griefing USM on World's Edge. We are cooking. What does that mean? Hey, my boy, big payback. Thank you for the 2 months. I don't care if it's Prime. I don't care where you come from. I don't know. Thank you so much for the subscription. And you know what? That goes straight to Lewis's. Just remember, your lack of subscription is internally causing Lewis pain. You're choosing to kill Lewis when you don't. Anyways, Sinatra says we're griefing USM. Sinatra, what roster are you on? Campbellsville University, trust the process. This is Stacks. You're on Stacks. Why are you all the way down on Stacks? Hey, there we go! The threat of his life and quality is more than enough to get the job done. That's all that matters. There we go. All right. Open brain. Enjoy zero. Open brain. Oh my god.
What
The train. It keeps chugging. A chew. A chew. A chugga. A chew. The man, the myth, the legend, the shredded god. Tyub. Thank you so much. I'm doxing you on main. Koskar, Joe, Cooper, Apricot Salmon, Rigatoni. Congratulations on your sub, but thank you more importantly to Ty Knows Best. I wish the games were started because we have got, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I see the lobby to my left. We still haven't started the lobby. I mean, we are good to go. I'm going to do a little check. Little quick check. All right, we're getting ready checks in chat. Thank you for the sub. Yeah, good job, everybody. I'm not picking Sinatra. Kaiser Navy's looking to take first again. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Oh, guys. Oh, my gosh. Dude, hold on. Before we get into things, we have sub emotes now. Guys, look down below. If you're a subscriber, this is like the first time most of you have been back. We have emotes. We have static emotes. The active ones are going to come in like a day or two. But we officially, not the howdy one. Get the howdy out of here. No, it's not the howdy emote. No, that's not the one. There we go. Oh my gosh, you guys are trolls. Come on. Where's a Lewis emote? As I said, Group T, I had to come up with a new sub goal. There it is in the top right. We are at 53 out of 150 subs. If we can get to 150 concurrent subs, I will drop the Lewis emotes. Stop dropping the howdy emote. I worked. Do you know how much? You guys are making me cry. You're making me cry. There you go. You get a little cry emote. So, not only will you save Lewis from imminent death. I'm going to delete that thing. I'm going to delete that emote. Not only will you save Lewis from imminent death when you subscribe, and I won't put him in the pot of soup, you also will get emotes, Lewis-themed emotes. And I think that is a critical motivator here for the majority of you. All right? Lewis, no. No complaining. We are beyond the point for games now. It's his life on the line. And you showcase and hold that. Lewis blinked once. Lewis might already be dead over there. Lewis, stop moving. Lewis, stop moving. Howdy for Lewis. No! Dream guess what I joined to? We're howdying for Lewis, apparently. I hate that emote. I'm new here. Is Lewis a sugar glider? No. Lewis is a neonatal kitten. He is 2 weeks old, and just about roughly a week ago, I found him on the street. I found him on the concrete in the middle of the street. And so he is just a little baby. Oh, okay, he looks tiny. He is tiny. He's not a kitten. He's a baby. Will Lewis cast ECAC as well? Guys, I'll be honest. Dream. If we hit 150 sub emotes, I will bring Lewis out here to meow on mic. It's really annoying. It's so annoying. But if we get those extra 97 emotes subs, we'll get Lewis out here on cast. I don't know if he'll be dropping the hot bangers necessary for y'all, but it'll be entertaining. Can we do Lewis cam instead of face cam tonight? Guys, I'm serious. Look at this. Scoreboard. He's over there. He's over there to the right. All right. In game. Look at this. In game. He's right here. Look at in game. He's literally above my head at this point. You guys always get to see Lewis. Make Lewis wider. Let Lewis grow up. No growth hormones, okay? Beyond that, Lewis is just fine, okay? All right, we got a little hype chest. What did we get? I'm spiraling emote. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. All right. Lewis is fine. You guys can have... Actually, you can't have a slightly wider Lewis because I would cover the scoreboard. Choo-choo? Yeah, choo-choo, everybody. Thank you so much for the subscriptions, by the way. Ty, Twin Scythe, Big Payback, Coco. Thank you so much. Seriously, it's always super appreciated. Thanks. Big Payback. Yeah. All right, so we're almost getting into game here. We've been taking our time. Hopefully, we carry on a little bit more expediently as we go through this. But, at least for now, we're only moments away from kicking this off. Sassy Jammy 77. Thank you so much for the follow. I'll be honest, I'm almost wearing the exact same outfit as that Twitch notification. I have a brown version of this jacket, and it looks oh so similar. Alright, guys. We're in it. We're ready. The server's starting. Freddy. It is time to get into the ECAC Match Point Finals. Will it be Southern Miss? Will it be Cumberland? Will it be the MSU Mavericks or Purdue Black once again? Or could it be any other fresh face to represent here? Let's jump into it. Does that do it for you? Is there a minimum number of games? I don't know. Let me check the announcement chat. I will say I got thrown into this last minute, so my prep work is definitely the bare minimum for a finals. Finals will follow checkmate match for teams winning 50 points, then a win. Okay. It does not say there is a minimum amount of games. No way, it's finals? It's finals. Yeah, finals would say no. Yeah. It's going to go E-District, World's Edge, Storm Point, then Storm Point, World's Edge, E-District. All right. So, we got the bare minimum information on the board. Remember, it couldn't possibly be over in 2 games, but anything can ultimately happen here. The jacket's going to come off shortly. I'm already as toasty as a piece of toast. There you go. Alright. I like the jacket, but it is also so hot in here. We'll just leave it behind me for now. Maybe I'll put it on later. I'm sorry, I was testing out a new bomb and I took out 1/3 of your farm. Are you angry? Apparently, I almost said your real name. Apparently, it's already moving on. What kind of team comps we got game 1? I will say I am a little bit behind in terms of... Oh, yeah. For those of you who are new to the Zephyr streaming process, I do not control the stream, right? It is controlled by an observer. So, any kind of request I'm unable to deliver on because, yes. Beyond that, thank you so much, Limbo. Welcome back, friend and family of the stream. My main man and subscriber extraordinaire, the GOAT. Let's take a look at Southern Miss Esports here because they're already representing with what might be a push into Resort. Is Thalys lagging? I don't know. It looked a little crunky, but you can't possibly lag in that bad if you're putting 124 out on the board here. Already a chunk of damage that should give them the opportunity here in the Resort area. They got more than enough to continue this push onwards here as that mobile shield's only going to cover you for oh so long. We'll see how it goes. Now, a couple of long-range shots here in the distance, and that should be it here for this roster. There you go. Okay. Well, all right. Maybe I counted my chickens before they hatched. Observer, you might need to close all background processes to make the game run smoother. So, give it a tiny little. I apologize. You're gonna see a little exchange. So that should be good for now. Yeah, that's good. All right, that might help out. 102 for Williams. Some gold though. Already down. A member in tow. Grindworthy gets caught out. That's what I'll say. Your co-caster's pretty quiet. Do you mean Lewis? He's sleeping. He's taking a little bit of a nap here. All right. Don't judge Lewis. Meanwhile, it does seem like something's breaking out against SCC. You can see 460 there as SCC already down 2 members out. First squad eliminated. The St. Clair Saints, the 5th seed here, as we'll jump on over to the MSU Mavericks. They're down just as quickly. A massive elimination here that'll come back to bite them as one remaining member will be left alive in the Lotus to try to play for success. 19 squads remaining still, though. They've got the time to put themselves back together as the Muskin University have got the height here in Lotus. Now, remember, there's still a ton of saves. Still a lot of opportunities for these teams to make these rotates come through here, so should be ultimately fine. Guys, I'm as spicy as it gets. Oh, we'll see how it goes. Couple of long-range shots, though, from Schmalz. Even as a solo is putting damage down where it counts, that might be enough to give the rotation they need. Catawba Esports has no idea they have marginal advantage. Wake him up. I'm not seeing enough movement. He's just a baby. Let the kitty sleep. Let the little guy go eepy weepy. All right. Cumberland University here in a saying could be working into USM, the height of both of these rosters, and what could decide these final moments for either one here. Southern Miss point blank make taking the shot and return right off the bat. They've gotten the separation. Neither of these squads has to take this exchange. Arguably, they should know how close they are to each other given the early drafting phase, so it's not necessary to make that exchange whatsoever. Southern Miss will see that rotate from UB and might look to chase it. Meanwhile, Kaiser University, we had a couple fans earlier here supporting this. Might not be the right Kaiser University. I believe this is the Sarasota University. Campbell's already on the chase, though. Out and down below. Grindworthy, we saw earlier, took a pin in what was some of the early exchanges out towards the eastern side. The Valkyries Jets already give them the opportunity to follow through on what might be long-range distance on the Wellstar, but instead end up with nothing. Sarasota, quick to move up the hill here. They've left Campbell's University in the dust. Meanwhile, USM, we saw them chase down UB almost immediately from the get-go here, and that could branch into a potential third party. MCE and Bethany Bison, oh, so close to each other. Let's see how that goes. I don't know. All right, well, Cumberland University tries to follow up just behind USM here. Instead, we'll find them more than healthy enough. They did not get that deep into the exchange against UMB, so they should be fine. Cumberland doesn't want to engage on this, and remember, even though we are finishing in City Hall here, it is still far too early to take these exchanges. Bethany Bison, they lose out on what was that whole send. Meanwhile, Semo Apex Ruby, we barely get to see their opportunity to thrive as OCCC Esports finishes the job in the Neon Square. MNSU Mavericks, just as they pull themselves back together, are quickly assaulted upon by the immediate removal of W&M Esports. Rydugstar, Magic Trickster, and Thoric Spinks. Well, going to have to see if they can set themselves up. The Crafter is available towards Energy Bank there for the likes of MNSU, so they still have the opportunity to pull themselves back together. All right. See how it goes. Couple of deep exchanges. Kaiser Navy, I assume the one that is supported by Coco here, is set up for their exchange. Meanwhile, Purdue Black, potentially the position of ire here for the likes of teams like Southern Miss. Already Viz and crew trying to pincher this one through, but that castle walls and the gas traps are going to make this a difficult assault here. We'll see how it goes. Whoa, I just subbed for them. Hey, I mean, you just sub for them, and now you're putting the love for them. I don't know him at all, to be honest. Don't you understand? When you sub for someone in Apex, that means you are their teammate at this point. You're loving, dying, ever-loved breed. Either way, Southern Miss looking to put a linchpin in the end of Purdue here. A couple of those gas traps have been exported out, but now long-range snipes over on Phallus will punish for now. This is a 5-minute game fix here, so hopefully gets rid of a little bit of that clunkiness. No steal for like Phallus, but just as they come down through the bottom themselves, the factory, even if they're cracked back, we'll be back up. Mink takes just as quickly of a return there. Dallas is trying to get involved, but finds himself on the outskirts. Castle Wall point blank, 45, 111 there on the damage. They'll get the knock on to Joaquin, and Purdue are down to 1 here with the elimination of Trauma. A quick cleanup, and now an immediate teleport back to safety with the third party from PSU. Leaves USM with the big dub. Meanwhile, for Cumberland, they're in a fight of their own. Point blank missile barrage right against the door here. They've already got most of the job done against Kaiser, and with one trying escape from the Valkyrie, you will be throttled into the ground. Zach barely gets double knocked down. It's going to be a pressure from Sykin to finish the job as we introduce 15 squads here. Officially, placement is on the board. For those of you who don't watch competitive Apex very often, when you get into the top 15 is when your placement converts to points. 15 through 11 is 1 point. 10th through 8th is 2 points. 7 and 6th are 3 points. 5th is 4. 4 is 5. 3rd is 7. 2nd is 9. And 1st place is 12 points. So, if you breach the top 15, that's when your position in this final hold does begin to count towards the scoreline here. Southern Miss Esports, they're more than happy to send it on another building, get a little bit of revenge. Days here doesn't get the chance. The Newcastle res coming through as they're going to have to punch down the castle wall there before the revive can even happen, though. TTV Awful, you guys, is brought down with the thunder. Viz is on the other side, looking to punish his Days, is running for the hills in the meanwhile. We'll say goodbye to Campbellsville University in the meanwhile here, as it looks like the heat is starting to accelerate. The MNSU Mavericks are once again put back together, but are just as quickly losing out on the remnants of their team. Cumberland looking for some sort of success, recovery, or send here as the MNSU Mavericks, they themselves are going to try to set themselves up here. Looks like they aren't going to be able to get that full recovery onto Gravity, so it is a 2v3 situation against the likes of Cumberland here. Bethany Bison could be potentially involved in this, but they are slightly further out towards the northern side, so I'd like to see them step away. Meanwhile, Zach W. Keys with knock on to Schmalz leaves just Speed Demon pressuring for the Newcastle reset there. 99 shots won't be good enough today. And for Cumberland University, it's another chunk of KP. We are literally in a KP race here between Southern Miss Esports and Cumberland Apex right out the gates. Neither have decided to fight each other and are oh so close in terms of the aggression. Shout out to Days, by the way, as a solo, dropping its flow motion there onto Michigan. They'll actually inevitably go down. PSU Apex are found in their final moments. So 12 squads remaining. W&M Esports, they're playing the hardy edge of zone here. They seem to have a little bit of an identity towards Cat Awaba, but for now, we'll tune into your regularly scheduled USM programming here. This building feels like deja vu. It's the 3rd time around, and you'd think if you're any one roster, you might learn, but hey, we see a rush that's oh so too quick here from the likes of USM. Dallas will go down, and with that altar still in play for most of these rosters, he should be able to get a full recovery here if the port comes through, but no port available. Hey, is there an overstat? Welcome, JetWatt. There is, in fact, and you know what? You just reminded me to put it pinned on the board. We are still in game 1, so there's not a lot yet, but there you go. Williamson Gold, they're going for a push and a half here. Doesn't even look like they've got pressure against them as the missiles finish the job, and a shield swap for XS 201 is more than enough to give them the health they need. The rest of the FX roster will finish this. Muscom University almost take it into a top 10. For those of you who are looking for the overstat, I've got it pinned here on the screen. Thanks. Rooting for SCC and Lucky. Hey, there you go. Nothing like a St. Clair Saints fan. All right. We'll see how it goes. 11 squads remaining here for the rest of these teams. A couple of deep, long-range shots from Bethany Bison. We saw them pull away from the northern side here. Meanwhile, Southern Miss looking for, oh, but the same push. Shun! Hey, Shun! Thank you so much for the follow. It's great to see you. Let's see how this one goes. OCC Esports. I don't know if Dallas ever got back into it. No. Southern Miss are still stuck as a duo here, trying to play for the recovery of that banner, are unable to find it, even though it's on the low ground, and now will be forced to contest this till the very end as a duo. There might be crafters coming down here in a second, but that's literally luck be a lady at that. Couple of distance long-range snipes will allow Bethany Bisons to find maybe some early knocks. We don't see the complete follow-through, but they will look for it all but the same here. Couple of Newcastle res as they'll get that final crack from the A-Way, but nothing enough to really punish them out. No confirmed KP even after that drop. It looks like the likes of Kaiser University Sarasota are more than healthy towards the southern side, which we will be finishing this game over towards here. So I will say, I really like Bethany's position. It's going to take a hell in a handbasket to keep that one defended for the rest of this game here, but everyone else is going to be slowly trying to fight their way in. Long-range rotations from Southern Miss all the way to the other side of zone. They're going to try to walk this in from the very, very edge. Oh, they've got Crafter just alongside them, but W&M Esports here are not far away. If Mate can get a nice early line drive with a couple of good shots to crack, that might be enough pressure. But from behind, they are quickly wrapped and assaulted from OCC. OCC have been the bane of USM here, and if it wasn't for those shots from the other side of City Hall, they would be done and dusted. Viz taking the time to play for the reset and might look for Mank. OCC is still held back from the City Hall shots, and that will give, yes, USM the chance to pull this one back together. Sykin from Cumberland has got the knocks necessary. Southern Miss are back into it, and they might not be able to craft. Meanwhile, W&M has turned towards them with ire. There's the push from the rest. As I'll say thank you to Stefan Davish for the follow. Here we go. The full push, the full end, the full wipe. W&M Esports send the lobby leaders, the #1 seeded team, the best of the best, back to the gray screen. We'll have to see if USM can pull it off in the future lobbies, because the expectation is right here. Still, 10 squads remaining as, well, Catawba Esports have yet to answer their rotation. Sarasota just alongside them here, and well, I'll tell you this, looks like Michigan State University, oh so similarly set up. Looks like Slasher and Sykin from Cumberland are continuing their assault. Coco, that's huge for a lobby. I'll tell you what, it's massive, but Cumberland are still here. Let's take a look at the Bethany Bisons. I said I like this position, and I'll tell you what, I still do at that. They've got an easy walk into that zone, albeit maybe not the best kind of coverage. I still think it'll allow them to survive into at least the top 6 if they don't get wrapped. MC Apex, though, they're not much longer for this world. That Mirage gets oh so spooky in final moments like this. A couple of late heals as a duo gonna hold on for the rest of their life. Down with Catawba. Hey, maybe down with Michigan State University. Final members left remaining out towards the north there is Fuel Esports, Cumberland, W&M. Everyone from the northern side has to inevitably make this rotate in. Teams like Catawba, Kaiser University, Sarasota, and Williamson are the only squads towards that northeastern side that currently host a position in zone. So expect some form of pressure from Fuel, Cumberland, or anybody here in the meanwhile. 18 seconds to go, and looks like MSU White is getting full thirsted. Zach W. Keys, Kraber in hand. Don't know if it will open up the necessary full push here, but I guarantee you, Williamson Gold, W&M, OCC, they're about to get a hefty dose of the Cumberland squad here in just a moment. Here we go. Close on the board. The assault underway. W&M have to be oh so careful about this. They can already hear those slides coming through. Williamson on the other side as Cumberland are looking for any kind of entry just as much here. There's Williamson down below. You got to question, where did Cumberland go? Where is Cumberland? Couple of shots out from the east may represent W&M can't peek the outskirts here. You're gonna have to put up the metal against Cumberland. Meanwhile, Kaiser University Sarasota, another squad that was in zone, defending for their position. The same with Catawba. They've got themselves a place in zone as there you go. Cumberland knocks onto Magic Trickster. The full push now onto Kaiser Sarasota. We'll say goodbye to OCC's final rat there as Kaiser are forced to play this oh so tight. They've got just barely a chunk of space to work with as the peak from up above is quickly punished here from a headman. Kaiser University are taking on a bit of the gas from Phantom, and he has found almost a perfect assaulting peak. But just as quickly as I say that, they come through, they take out the trash, and they eliminate the stairs on the other side. MCE will join them. Meanwhile, Zach W. Keys and the Cumberland squad are wiping these buildings piece by piece. Williamson down to a couple final members there. Single down. Bethany playing the low side. Catawba, you say down with them, small guy. This might be their end. They are literally stuck in this room with the Fuel Esports ahead of them, as well as Kaiser University Sarasota. All three of those teams are disgustingly pressured. And the minute they make a move out from these buildings, depending on their health, depending on their push, they're going to be running either into Bethany Bison or the likes of Cumberland here. So with 4 seconds to go, I mean, the best that Kaiser can do, they've got one of the better positions. They just got to hold on for dear life. Missiles to defend for now, almost immediately broken out by the wall there. Fuel Esports not much better as Catawba comes through from the other side of the wall. It is a 3v3v3 action here. Fuel losing out on one. They have the Newcastle, but they're not going to play for it. Meanwhile, Catawba biding their time, trying to play for port, but the zone is even more punishing now. Kaiser University Sarasota has done a great job assaulting these teams. A castle wall means nothing when the fist is thrusting you into the edge of zone. 4 squads remaining. Bethany Bison out towards the south. Cumberland out towards the east. And now with 3, just Kaiser University taking the full brunt of damage here. It's finally some KP for Bethany Bison as they will commit for the end, but have given up their position. Wazi is stuck on the low ground. Cumberland's up on height, and in a straight 3v3, it is always all but Cumberland here. Missiles down. Kraber in the hands of Zach W. Keys. A ticking lifeline ultimate. There's 150 in the knock. There's the castle wall for pressure. The full send from Zach W. Keys from behind the wall means you are but seconds away from your end. One final push for one big dub here. Game 1, the expectation delivered. Cumberland Apex, your winners. I'll tell you what, it is a congratulation and a half. And it is exactly what everyone expected. Shout out to Cumberland University. Zach W. Keys, Psych and Slasher. There may be no maple here left on the board, but ultimately that doesn't matter. That Kraber shot was so blind. What do you mean? It was far from blind. My man, where do you think where do you think Bethany can go? They are in point blank range. I'll tell you what too, never forget, Spectator doesn't display the smoke hyper efficiently here in terms of whatever. All right. Pull this back to face real quick while I fix the Lewis cam and go grab some water. I'll be right back. When I come back, we'll get the scoreboard up in just a second. All right. Great stuff on the board. Cumberland University as good as they get are representing in a way that is of expectation here. Let's take a look at that scoreboard while we wait. Something to note, by the way, as I will mention this multiple times throughout the stream, there is a main broadcast here, so we will be kind of deferring to them in between games in terms of how long we are waiting between the games. All right? Huh. Weird. Okay. Hold on, I'm doing a little check on the production. All right. All right. So, I asked y'all, as we always start with our quality score, over, under 6.0. The majority of you were wrong. This is a big congratulations. Who got all these points? Neo, you took the over. You took the very small over, and you have taken your 80 points, and you have ballooned them to 1,000 from taking the over there. Congratulations on having faith in the quality of the lobby, Neo. You just got yourself 1.5 points. My lord. That's probably one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen from the predictions here. Here's the question of the day. Cumberland University come out to play, 16 kills with the win on the board, 28 points. It is a 50-point match point series, so we are already halfway to the necessary total here for Cumberland to deliver their final blow. So let's jump into another prediction. Thank you so much, Syken. Welcome. Hey, Syken, congratulations. We got 5 minutes till we jump into game. Great job from Cumberland. Do you have any words of advice here? Any words of love? Also, over under 10 KP Cumberland. For those of you who have never done this before, we like to do a little bit of betting. It's just for fun. Nothing super serious. 9.5 KP. Over under 9.5 KP for Cumberland. You got 5 minutes to get your bets on the board. Cumberland win. Can you stop spoiling? Just ready to go back to back. I feel like a lost puppy, though. Why do you feel like a lost puppy, Syken? I love gambling. Yeah, get your bets in. Wow, these Cumberland guys may be good. They could possibly be good, guys. Yeah, no one's spoiling anything. We're not even in game yet. We're literally, they're just hanging out here between games. I can see the game starting on my second monitor. Cumberland are just starting to cook. Also, Maple isn't even playing. There's not enough water in Texas. It's so dry down here. We have to import this shit in from the Alps. Woo. No, Maple can't play anymore? Yeah, Maple can't play anymore. And either way, Cumberland does fine. 28 points there. And behind them, Bethany Bison is the surprise and a half. They make it all the way to second place with 7 KP. Wazzy, TK Bird, and Juju do a great job of holding an excellent macro position. And it's even more impressive when you take into account here that their position on the map was all the way in Street Market. They had to deal with teams like Purdue, OCC, PSU, all moving into the City Hall well and before them. And they still had such a good read of that zone. So congratulations to them. The same can be said for Kaiser University. They walk out with an oh-so-but-similar 7 KP there with their third place finish to at least put them up to 14. These are double-digit starts in the beginning of a match point series. Remember, it is a race right now. And Cumberland and Southern Miss will likely be at the edge of that race extremely quickly. So you have to keep these types of games on your belt all throughout today, because the minute you let it slip, you are done. That being said, a blemish on the Southern Miss roster. 7 KP there with their 11th place finish we saw after they struggled to fight OCC and then the wrap from them later. As a result, they only walk away with the single placement point. It's their 7 KP that carry them to their 4th place position right now. So I'm looking for a reset. I'm looking for a bit of a recovery, but it is going to take some time. And you can't let Cumberland get away with it Either way, Valkyrie, to the surprise of nobody, will be that first ban on the board. It has been for most series of Collegiate thus far. In most competitions, the extra advantage of rotation and the pressure on the board is oh so good. Remember to get your predictions in. 2 minutes left to get your bets. Over, under 9.5 KP for Cumberland. You could be like Neo. Neo took the under and just gained 1,000 points here. A lot of you are picking the over. No one's a better. No one is a better in chat. The drops going into World's Edge is what we'll look at. Southern Miss will be starting here against OCC in Skyhook. That is going to be the rivalry of a century that we'll look at in Skyhook, because the two of these teams basically ended each other. OCC wrapping Southern Miss and finishing them out there. So that was a very, very big moment that allowed or sent Southern Miss packing. We might see them fight this out. Of course, Cumberland University isn't that far away here. They're all the way down in Siphon. That's actually pretty far away. I lied. They're down all the way towards the southeast. They've got a couple of interesting teams alongside them. PSU, Bethany Bison, who had some marginally decent games there, will be joining along them, as was that top 4. So we'll see how they might potentially convert. Kaiser University and Kaiser Navy, different. They're out there towards the west. Kaiser University, Sarasota, we'll see if they can manage to kind of keep this one in the chamber. Climatizer, though, for teams like the likes of Purdue Black, a big strong start out towards the northeast and priority towards those zones. Harvester for the MNSU Mavericks. That's going to allow them any kind of decision making. And then Thermals for the St. Clair Saints, kind of a polar opposite to Purdue Black. Those are the teams I kind of look at because they've had maybe a marginal start at that. And maybe we'll throw W&M into the mix. They've impressed me a little bit in some of their future history. So Overlook, not the worst. And it can allow for some quick transition and scans out towards the side there. So not super duper bad. Either way, 20 seconds on the board. No one took the under. Not a single person took the under here for 9.5 KP. So you're playing against the house. It's either you win and you get the over with Cumberland, or I take your money and you don't get it back. So we'll see how that goes. I believe we are almost ready to go. Yeah, 60 players on the board. This time around, I'll let you guys see the picks. Oh. So refreshing. Good, hearty water. It's the best. There's nothing like a good water to quench your throat. Absolutely good. Hey, Zevert, can you talk to the admins and get me in there? I want to play. You can just pay money. Pay money and sign up for ECAC next semester. I can't get you into today. I will say, though, I guarantee you could probably call up one of the players, say, hey, man, let me go. Let me try. And then just change names. I don't think anyone would know the difference. But I will say, if you dropped like 4K damage on someone who was just completely, they might notice. I know a guy who can fake transcripts for us, Tim. He might go to Washington University. Let me team with him, kick out the last place team. Yeah, let's, dude, okay, small aside while we get into it. By the way, no Valkyrie here, but Caustic, Newcastle, and Wraith makes a big replacement for a lot of teams. We start to see Mad Maggies. There you go. That's your legend thing. Wash U, shout out to them. Here's the story time of the day. Do you guys remember? I drank the hot sauce, right? And so we had to pick hot takes. And I didn't know I was going to be drinking all that hot sauce. That's not something I planned. That just happened spur of the moment. When Graceful started swigging it, I was like, oh, well, I got to drink the whole bottle. Anyways, something to note is that my take during that broadcast was like something about gorillas, because the gorilla versus 100 men argument was happening at the time. And I remember I told my producer Ben, I asked my producer Ben if my hot take could be This was my original hot take, and they vetoed it. They said I couldn't say this. I said, my hot take is that the last place team in all of ALGS, so you take all the regions, you find out who was the worst place team, and then you execute them by a live firing squad. And then, over time, that will put together the most competitive top 20 team lobby. That was my original hot take, and they vetoed it, and they said I was not allowed to say that. I was so upset. My producer did not like it. Anyways, we're getting some clunkiness on stream, but we are getting the Katawa memes. Alexander, Icy, and Risky with a drop onto Novak from Semo Apexes. They'll probably play for safety. Why did they veto that in 1984? Ugh, how dare they? How dare they? New region just dropped, so this is why he's not going into the game. North Korea. I'm telling you guys, what is the better incentive for playing well in Apex than execution? Right? Either you make it into the top 19 or you're shot and killed. You know? Alright. You guys can probably hear me crunking up this bottle. So when this team dies, we'll crack it open. UB Esports are looking for the push. Ched on one side, Dragons reaching Dirtiest Donut on the other. There's the port play in as the gas traps is ticking. They've already taken towards the stairwell. One good port up above, though, could be the difference. MSU White are far from healthy here as they'll try to continue to make their push up to the 3rd floor to give them any time, any safety to work with. Open fence door. Take damage, close door. Here's the port play. Dragon Reach makes the move. Ched follows through, and MSU White have been more than successful on the response. What starts out as good ends up as failure. MSU White, though, are just as quickly taking a huge brunt of gas damage, but they still get the job done. Woo! Great job from the Michigan roster. There we go. I'm a huge fan of Michigan State. I have a Michigan State jersey in my closet. Did you guys know that? I'm pretty sure that's Michigan State, not Minnesota, right? Right. Hold on. I'm gonna take 2 seconds and check that. MSU Mavericks, MSU White. I'm pretty sure. Go Green? I think it's Go Green. What is the best name you've ever seen while casting Apex? Casting? Ooh, that's pretty limited. In collegiate, I like the Jonkler. I like Narwhal Boy. Alright, we'll hold off on the thought for now. OCCC Esports here. Able to take their own exchange as the Nox Gas Grenade will give Semo Apex Ruby the chance to recover. They just got these resets as the castle wall will come down for OCC to establish their own place of presence here on this floor. Still looking for it as that Nox Gas Grenade is going to tick out. We'll say goodbye to Muscatine University as they find their way to their end on the 19. Semo Apex Ruby is already looking for an escape, but a couple peeks on the zip line there, and Novak is on the other side. He's going to put a portal down with the altar for them to teleport away to. Or, you know what? We might as well just point blank walk it. Why are we walking it? Why are we walking it? What are we doing? OCC gets free shots in the backside here. You're literally just taking it. Semo Apex with another drop down, and OCC just have to close the distance. They're going to get a couple of these full thirsts, and it is one remaining member this time for Semo Apex as they are still a distance and a half. We can hear some of those other shots, and it does let us know that we have some USM action here on the other side. USM, they're looking for revenge. OCC found the knock on to Thalas last time, and that's what threw Southern Miss's game. The fury of their failures have come to reap here. Knock for knock, Viz for 2. One final remaining member, a boop and a shoe. Long-range shots as Viz picks up all 3 with the Spitty. That is the expectation of Skyhook that I was waiting for all game long. Q run faster than them. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Could have just ported away, though. I don't know what happened. All right. I gave myself a little beard. Ow! I did not give myself a little beard. I put it away like a good boy.
We should probe that sector over there. Target spotted.
All right. Kaiser University Sarasota still taking their time out from the edge of Mirage. They got a height advantage into this play, and they're still technically in zone here, but there's not a lot of cover for them to work with down towards the low ground. PSU Apex have opted to drop the castle wall. I would say probably a little unnecessarily here. Kaiser University Sarasota can easily wrap this wall, and I mean, a peek like that won't do much for you there. Even still, Wild Wings doesn't want anything to do with it. Dodges out on a couple of those reverse nades and will still take their time into this exchange. If I was them, I'd be walking into this fight. You have the positional advantage. Make the move. All right. Well, PSU Apex will be playing gatekeeper towards the southern side. Here's the only teams in zone are Kaiser Navy, the St. Clair Saints, and the Mavericks. We will be pulling towards a landslide finish, which those can get nasty. A very open-sided zone. Landslide does provide a little bit of cover, but making the breach, especially past this zone further, can get absolutely disgusting. All right, so they're going to have to be a little bit respectful there in the future of this game. Bethany Bison, a big proponent of a second-place finish in Game 1, looking to carry on that chunk of success, have still yet to make it to zone. Can move through the choke towards that south side into landslide direct. There's still space in Kaiser Navy's position. Minnesota, or my apologies, Michigan, go green, have found themselves with a bit of damage down early on here, and now looking to continue that assault. We saw Williamson a little bit earlier on taking a brunt of damage, and now forced to reset after Cumberland. Might be down to their final remaining member. A couple full thirsts here to go. Go white. I mean, there is a Michigan green, but like, you know. All right, 16 squads remaining. Most teams have made their way in for the St. Clair Saints. They don't really get to play Kaiser University Sarasota. They might not fight against the likes of PSU, but they'll find the same sort of aggression that they want to work with. Wild Wings low, though, on but a tick of flesh health there. Southern Miss easing here. Here we go. Full send forward. Make down with one on the KU's Lions from the likes of Kaiser University from behind the pillar. I don't know why you would try to heal. The Newcastle Res, inevitable to come through, but at the end of the day, all Southern Misses just has to rotate to play. A full wipe on the Sarasota roster, and another pick of 3 KP here for Southern Miss. Now, they have to be careful. Bethany Bison on the west side, PSU on the eastern end. Remember, last time, Southern Miss was able to pick up 2 rosters here before they were wiped out completely. We're going to jump onto the eastern side of zone. Purdue Black have been holding out this choke, and they're going to continue to try to do so, but Waukee is shot from both sides. Meanwhile, Catawba, not much better than themselves. Risky trying to play for the kidnap here. Instead finds himself positioned back. Even still, Trauma will go down, and the Purdue Black roster is playing for their setup. Michigan re-eclipsing, taking away this choke. And the only question I have is, where is Cumberland? We still know they're not far away from this equation. And yes, Slasher with the first drop. The full thirst onto Shrimp. Cumberland here, coming in from the east, will put a nail in your potential theoretical coffin here. Out through the other side of the choke, and Michigan is split. Purdue is down to 1, and Catawba, oh, they're just barely going to get the teleport out there from choke. Bethany Bison will be eliminated at the hands of USM. Purdue will inevitably be found out and finished by Catawba. There we go. Couple of long-range distant shots here. Couple of misses from Zach W. Keys, but in the end, you've got the shield breaks to boot. Slasher finally with the first knock, and that'll be the necessary go button to eclipse the distance. One final remaining member here from Catawba. They'll finish the job. Meanwhile, we'll jump on over to Camsville versus the likes of the Fuel. Grindworthy and Sinatra healing. They don't have Stover. That was their chance to push, and instead they pull back.
A care package has touched down.
All right, whatever. Campbell's is back into it, oh so but a bit late, and now shot from the other side. They gotta hope those nades get the job done on the interior of the building. Grineworthy's pushing for it, and Beam Chili will pin a response here. Another reset coming through on Captain Logie before the full thirst means that Campbell University's gotta play for some kind of different success into the edge of zone. They will do their best as we'll jump on over to the St. Clair Saints. I know we've got some St. Clair fans here. You're not much longer for this world. USM has a target on your back. And for the St. Clair Saints, that usually means you're done. Here we go. A couple of gas traps will punish them. Dallas, got to be careful. Last time he early rotated into an exchange like this, and that was a difference maker. St. Clair fans, they exist, Aether. They exist. 11 squads remaining, and Southern Miss are going to continue to look for this. Meanwhile, shout out to Williamson, once again able to put themselves back together. They still, though, will lose out to Michigan in the direct trade, and I mean, Michigan make this look easy. The Fuel will try to punish this just as quickly as we'll say goodbye finally to Catawba at the hands of Minnesota. The full send here, oh so quickly, as Williamson inevitably is picked off there. But that kind of rotation will get punished out. The zone is now just too much to handle. A couple of late-term heals won't be able to be found, and they will likely die to zone. Michigan done. Other rotates coming through from the bridge. I only can assume this is the Fuel. W&M Esports playing the interior. Kaiser Navy up on height, and you gotta get yourself to the truck out there towards the east. Instead, they are stuck on the rock, pinned by the ash. Thoric Sphincter is playing, and if he had hit that nade, it would have been critical. USM finds the end of PSU Apex as the Fuel Academy. I mean, you are not long for this world. Couple of long-range shots in W&M. Let's see if they hit the nade this time. Come on. Deeper shots, another pin, but no successful nade. I think they got 99 on that one, but it still isn't the knocks necessary. They're getting pressured back from this team on height, and the Fuel Esports continues to survive here. Just play into the truck. Use the mobile shield. Play into the truck. The truck is available. I guarantee it. Why are we opting to play the rock? Play into the truck. All right, Fuel has inevitably moved towards the low ground for now.
Let's go this way.
Kaiser Navy, like I said, was up on height, and they will now turn their ire towards the likes of W&N. Meanwhile, long range knocks as Cumberland's going for the full send. Schmalz and the Minnesota roster have been good thus far, but now caught out with nowhere to go. The full thirst under gravity. The Zek knock onto Speed Demon leaves just Schmalz left alive here. Single remaining members is Cumberland will take their time on this one. They don't want to push that too aggressively, and that actually might allow 2 members of Minnesota left standing on that truck ahead here. Well, maybe not quite. There's Schmalz. He's going to try to stick this revive out point blank on the pills as the Fuel are opting to slam up to height. They'll take the castle wall. The single shots mean nothing, and Kaiser Navy's position is usurped. Meanwhile, Fuel Esports are no much better themselves down. Southern Miss are going to try to eclipse on this just as quickly here. The port available for the steal as Dallas is utmost imperfect with the beam. Final couple remaining members here with Kaiser up to the height. Dallas and Viz and Make looking for the trade in the play as there. Minnesota on the other side could be looking for their revive to thrive. Make and Viz is still so far away from this exchange, and they're just going to take their time. Zach W. Keys with a knock onto Lucky, and the SCC roster trying to rotate out of Countdown. Guys, I think we're going to be seeing a Cumberland and a USM finish here for this game. Even still, Cumberland with barely anywhere to go. The top 5 has been achieved. Minnesota, Fuel Esports, Cumberland, Kaiser Navy, and USM there in their final moments. Cumberland smoking this one out, are on the very edge of zone, and are at the attention of everyone. You have to hope someone's going to collapse, but here comes Southern Miss. They don't want a secondary win. They want your end. A beam will go wide, but Slasher from afar finds the first knock. A bombardment up above as the Wraithport will try to find success of safety, but instead is fall through oh so excellently here from Dallas. Here he comes into the fence line, into the final finisher to to send what might be the embers of Cumberland out. A couple of port plays out towards the side as you've got to work your way back into the portal. Dip, dive, dodge, and weed behind the fence line. You will have to believe Cumberland out in 5th place. Southern Miss have eclipsed them and now are in the proponents of success. Now, Minnesota have gotten their revives off. Kaiser Navy are just, no, not Kaiser. Kaiser's dead. W&M down south. The Fuel in the center. Well, probably facing their knocks here. Southern Miss have opted to play for height, and they're a one-man army in the face of Dallas. 3 squads remaining, and I mean, you have to thank Southern Miss for practically cleaning up the rest of your lobby here. Minnesota out east, W&M Esports down south, and in the height, the kingdom come. Above them all is Southern Miss Esports. Now, they have to still be oh so respectful here. Minnesota can capitalize on you, but Dallas has spotted how little space you have in this zone. It is a massive chunk of damage against, well, it looks like just the buildings here. No damage onto Minnesota. Ooh, Zach W. Keys itching for a snipe. Southern Miss, if they're going to win this game, they have to be so careful. One bad knock against W&M or Minnesota could be the end of them here. Even still, gonna play back up to height while they can. W&M barely anywhere to go. Ooh. Kind of blocked out by the Newcastle wall as Mank's gonna let those ordinances shine alongside his knuckle clusters. Meanwhile, a swing and a miss from Thalys. Kraber in the hands, and he'll continue to look here as they'll set themselves up for truck. There's Fizz, though, with the knock on the thorax sphincter, and they've turned their attention to W&M, seeing they've got more than enough to work with. A couple of deep shots in the backside there from the edge of Minnesota will give Dallas the chance to recover, but they've got to hold out for dear life. It's a beautiful Fuse ultimate, and Southern Miss are just slowly cutting into both of these teams at the same time. Even still, a Nox gas grenade from above as we'll say goodbye to W&M. It is a 3v3 exchange here. Southern Miss already low ground. Dallas is point blank. He makes a mistake. He's too far forward. It's Gravity with a knock, and now a couple long-range snipes from Schmalz. I mean, you're in a 2v3 situation. Dallas down below, and Mank and Vize have to pull it off against the world here. A 2v3 exchange. A quick chunk of heals. That height is barely good enough to work with. You literally are at the perfect LOS for all 3 members of MSU. We'll see if the Mavericks can do it. Oh, not quite getting the break. And for some reason, Minnesota lets the exchange come through. Dallas is back up. Why didn't we push? Why didn't we push? Why didn't we do anything? They let him get the res off. All right, well, I'll tell you this. USM will be forced to drop out here, and we'll see if Minnesota can track this, but Southern Miss, I guarantee you, will survive the drop. 3v3, OG Arenas, and there's the Kraber shot that might make a difference. Crypto shields are broken. Here's the full send. The bombardment to the edge, and Viz is already down. Smokes for coverage, and as they peek across the wall, Flesh is found here. Mank is low. Minnesota's pressuring back. A port play to get to the other side for safety as the beams don't end up in the trade they need. 1 for 1. Dallas down, Gravity down, a 2v2 situation, and the full thirst for shield swap reset as speed goes away. It's left up to Schmalz, and all you can do is blame Minnesota for the loss. Congratulations to Southern Miss Esports. They were granted love and given a lack of respect. You get what you get. You get what you get.
We have our Apex champions.
A full knock onto Thalys. A full knock onto Thalys, and nothing happens. And this is Minnesota, by the way. I hope Loopy is on their ass right now. All right? There is absolutely no reason why you should not capitalize on that in the moment. I see they're trying to set up the crypto play. They're trying to establish what might be it. But remember, when you have the numbers advantage, that's your best chance. The fact that no one's close enough even to punish what is a low ground reset, by the way, you had to get that reset off on the low ground. They were not up in their Kingdom Come tower there. I get it's dangerous, but You're never going to win if you don't even try to establish some level of dominance there. As a result, let's take a look at the scoreboard because that's what matters most. Game 2, Southern Miss Esports, they set the record high coming right out of the gates for a return that we all knew was coming. 36 points on the board, 24 KP. Talk about hell here for the USM roster now. You held them to 8 in game 1, and they explode in recovery. Welcome, Bulldog Cushion. Welcome, everybody who's joined in on that last game. If you are just joining us right now, we are in the match point finals of ECAC. This is not Octane. This is a different collegiate league, but you will see some familiar faces. MSU does survive there into second place with 5 KP. The win would have just barely put them, I would say, 3 points from the win plus 3 thing. I would put them at roughly 20. Subtract that down from Southern Miss there for 30. It still would have been relatively better. Every point counts. Cumberland, this time around, don't make it quite as far. We saw them choked out there, and you got W&M and Fuel Esports. A shout out to Michigan, 7 KP on the board. Your word, it's Flow Motion and Shrimp. A great job at being aggressive in that game and holding the Eastern edge, even after multiple resets. Would have loved to see them more successful on their rotate in, but they were held out by the Fuel and they were held out by Cumberland. Our prediction from last one, I asked y'all over under 9.5 KP Cumberland. It's the under. Someone should have taken the under. Instead, you all lose your money. Let's start another prediction. It's going to be oh so similar, 9.5 KP, but this time for USM. 5 minutes on the board. I'll let you guys get to betting as we take a look at the overall. 44 points for Southern Miss. They are 6 points away, and I guarantee you they hit it this game. The same could be said for Cumberland. 10 points away is no slouch of success for this roster. The only 2 teams with a win, and the only 2 teams a single game away from match point. 6 points for Southern, 10 for Cumberland. The next closest, W&M, still a massive, and I mean massive, 32 points away. You barely got time. This is your chance. If you're W&M, Bethany Bison, Kaiser Sarasota, Fuel, or Mavericks, or MSU White, you need to make this next game count because you need that roughly 20 plus points to be just closer, all right? Because Southern Miss and Cumberland are coming. Is there a game minimum? I don't believe so. Get your bets in. 9.5 KP. We're already taking the under. We're little reactionary bettors here. The drops for this next game are going to be on Storm Point, so I'll let you guys see it. Of course, Southern Miss in Checkpoint here. It's not the strongest start, but I worry for OCCC again and Bethany Bison or even Kaiser University Sarasota. Hopefully, any one of these teams takes advantage of the Trident and gets out of Dodge very quickly because Southern Miss are coming. For the likes of Cumberland University, they're all the way in Launchpad. Devastated Coast is empty, so they will have a slower start here, but they can find just as quickly an aggression. Something to note, though, is they do have slightly harder teams around them. W&M, Michigan, Fuel Esports, all in the top 8 right now. Mavericks are all the way towards the wall, and I don't know if there's anyone else really to note here. We're just going to have to see how it goes. All right. Lewis has so much space, by the way. Yes, he does. Lewis, with the help of your money from the last couple streams, Lewis was upgraded to a penthouse suite. All right? So, I mean, Lewis is going to become a bigger cat someday. Oh. Hey, for those of you, I was going to say, for those of you who don't know, there's a blanket there, but there's also a heat pad underneath it. A nice little heat pad. So he's very cozy. He's got a little warming agent just below him. And he's not doing it right now, but sometimes he loves to cuddle with that lion. He also loves to play with it. Whenever Lewis gets fed, he immediately jumps back into his playpen and he starts trying to wrestle the lion, and it's so cute to watch. So, he's adorable, but he is oh so sleepy. He was fed just before we started, and so every time he gets fed, he takes a big nap because he's a growing boy. All right. Game 3 underway. I didn't get to talk about it, but there is no caustic here on the board. That means in terms of the pressure of the Nox gas grenade and the gas traps that give you a little bit of safety, not going to matter as much. Storm Point, I will say, is the least impactful map for caustic, but it is still a big legend to ban away going further here. So expect the Wattson to start to rear its head a little bit more across the board, but Newcastle still sees a pick and flavor of the month. I would expect to see either a ban. I would hope it would be the altar, but I mean, ECAC plays it a little bit different. The fact that I already see so many ashes in the lobby tells me that is different. So, I mean, and we got to see that from the fuel. They did try to capitalize, or W&M tried to capitalize with the ash a couple times there, and it was a little weird in the half. Didn't really work out. All right. Meow, meow, meow. Okay. Uh-oh.
Open supply bin
Bada,
over
bada,
here.
bada, 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 bada. Uh-oh. All right.
Laser sight here.
She as I
Level
yell.
2.
Our final bets on the board. It looks like the over is a place no one wants to be for USM. 9.5 KP.
Level 3.
Most people are taking the under this time after
Triple take it.
getting
Energy
bit
out.
by the bullet earlier
Always
with
better than
Cumberland.
hindsight.
20 seconds, get your last bets in. We'll see how it goes. End of the day, all that really matters, and you guys will be watching it here in a second, is they've got a raise. Hey! Oh, it's a prime. I thought you followed. I forget that that's the same notification sound. I was like, Corey, why did you just follow me? I thought we were homies. No, we're mega homies now. Congratulations on the 2-month subscription. You've gained yourself the 2-month subscriber badge, which I oh so love. It's a nice little beige cowboy hat instead of the usual. And guess what? For those who don't know, you get to guarantee yourself some beautiful sub emotes. We'll tune in with Campbell University. They're not in a position of being a subscriber yet here on my stream, but I'll tell you what, with success like this, they might as well be one already. A couple of distant shots far and away, and Sinatra's not looking much better at that. A couple of bamboozle for Foozle here, and that Mirage is breaking ankles. In the end, they will get knocked. A 2v2 scenario, and Catawba Esports, you would hope, would take this zip line while the smokes are up. Got a little high. Hey! Hey! Yeah, a little angles up in there. I like it. Big moves on the board. This is an Octane open team, right? Yeah, you'll recognize Sinatra and Stoberb and Grind from Octane. And this is more, once again, a little bit of that discussion of how there's so much of a skill disparity between these teams. Guys, can we stop trolling the fights, please? Yeah, I mean, we let that revive come entirely through for Campbell University. And, I mean, we're still fighting this one out. Catawba has the beacon, and they might be able to put themselves back together. Meanwhile, we'll have to tune in towards the north pad maybe shortly here. Once again, I don't control it, but yeah. Bethany's going to get sent. I said this shit. I was talking about it in the draft, in the drop spots. Southern Miss will send you if they catch you nearby. Wonder how the servers are holding up, because God, it was unplayable like an hour ago. As you can tell by how kind of like crunchy it is, the servers are still kind of meh. But that's not anybody's fault. That's still Apex. Hopefully it's not dissuading from the quality of the stream too much here, but Southern Miss are going to look for that chase onto Bethany all the way back to the down beast, and I guarantee you they'll send for Alliance vibes with this USM fight. Yeah, I mean, they will find you on your POI, and you will be at your
Enticing
end
target over
here.
there.
Meanwhile, Campbell University are able to pull themselves back together. There's Stoberg back into play, and I mean, they might finish this out. A couple quick checks on Southern Miss out towards the north third pad, as apparently Stoberg fell off the map. I don't know what happened there. I'm glad we didn't see it. Risky with another knock on to Grindworthy, and that might be the end. Here comes Bethany Bison trying to hold out USM how they may fall. Oh, could get bad. There you go. Every single second that USM continues to salt upon you is a second that you might meet your end. Meanwhile, for Williams, some gold. This is not a place that we usually see fights on the edge. Muskingum University, though, has lost out already on the exchange, so not much more to say there. Down to 1. And here comes Bethany Bison. Already, Juju down to but about 50 HP, and it's a complete separation of the roster. Dallas with the Volt exchange, and Southern Miss are just going to slowly push into your face here. So, for those of you who took the under against USM, hold your breath. Up on high, they'll pressure back just a bit. Dallas is the leading benefactor of this fight, and the rest of the team has come to respond. The squad is here, and they're ready. They're ready. All right. I mean, you might as well just get full send upon. 45 damage ain't looking good for Mank, but I can't imagine it will get much worse than that. The black hole doesn't end up successful as Wazzy goes down, and Vize with a long-range snipe says goodbye. Bethany Bison, one of the first teams eliminated, and that is one of those rosters that I was begging to make a turnaround. Except for, are we okay? We are living La Vida Loca. I'm Ricky Martin. Woo! OCC putting in a good punishment on Speed Demon there. That'll be the end of the drone, and that could be what they need to send this fight. Remember, it is a rampart, but it's not much more than that. Hey, I haven't heard of OCC either, but I'll tell you what, if you're hitting shots like that, it could be the difference maker. But UB Esports is not far away. The potential for the third-party play is only a heavy breath at that. You can already see the port on the other side, and the nades beginning to be invested here. I'll say this, UB can't get quite invested as much as well, but already with cracks down, they have responses available. Walls set up for Dirtiest Donut depending on the next port play of action, and UB are trying to picture this all but the same. For OCC, no one's been knocked. You can only hope they've made a rotate out. Meanwhile, Speed Demon up above has got to hit these shots, and instead, he falls. UB with the response, and for Minnesota, now they got to hold on for dear life. Gravity to the low ground, a trying pump or two, and there's the full thirst. Here we go. 2v3 situation. Minnesota still on the interior here, playing around Gravity's exchange, and shout out to OCC. They do a great job biding their time, just kind of waiting for this fight to unfurl as they may re-engage it from the height there. By the way, Catawba down to just 1, Risky running for the hills towards the south. A couple of teams playing towards more of the end game here. Kaiser Navy, a shout out to them. Longbow in the hands of Ozek. Armed with a knock potential or 2. I love you too. I love you, Caden. I love you, Koryu. You guys are the best. All right, this is what I was talking about. OCC Esports up on high here. They get out of that exchange before the third party from UB comes true, and now are in the prime position to potentially punish either Minnesota or UB given the exchange. Something to note is that neither are in zone, so they're going to have to make a move eventually, right? You're going to have to jump out here at some point.
Enemy spotted. Near me.
We'll see how it goes. SCC with the re-knock onto PSU, and hey, that's the biggest that was the biggest success that we've seen out of St. Clair Saints thus far. PSU and Kaiser in here as well. Yeah, the PSU versus Kaiser doesn't really, I don't know if it carries over as aggressively. Try to make some transcript. Guys, we can't taunty our way through ECAC. We have to rein it in a little bit. All right, come on. For those of you who don't know, Washington U was a false university made as they made transcripts here from Anyways, here comes Southern Mississippi. Step right up, point blank on the door, and what will you win yourself? It's a fresh new prize. KP galore in the castle wall to ignore. Another teleport with the reload for more KP. That's 2 on the Lions, 1 more on the Stowbird, and with Kaiser down to 1, Southern Esports have granted themselves just an extra point. Wait, they didn't fake transcripts, only they created a cold... No, the college existed. The college actually existed. They faked transcripts from the college. It was pretty goated. It's a felony. It's a complete felony. But it was cool. I'm sorry, big dog. I'm at work, so I just came back. You never have to apologize. Ever. ever. Southern Miss gonna finish the job here. They'll launch through the edge of the wall, and that'll be it for Kaiser University Sarasota there. Viz doubling back over to get himself the opportunity on that shield. St. Clair Saints can't bring them down. I'll tell you what, St. Clair are only a step away from sending it on you. Washington University does exist. Okay, I should have ran the over Cumberland and University. Yes, you should have. You're crazy, brother. You're crazy. Catawba Esports just barely got themselves revived here, and Muskingum University are not so much further away. Icy Alexander, turn around. There we go. A knock onto Current Mud is big success there, but you've still got Pylon holding you out. That's it for War 1-2 Merlin. A couple of good flesh responses will bring Icy back, but Piant has to play for recovery. Take the time. Get the syringe off. Alexander's going to backtrack all the way over to Risky to get the banner play, but the reality is, I mean, W&M are just here to pick up the free KP. I mean, they'll leave Muskingum to keep playing into this. By the way, in the kill feed, we didn't really get to see it, but Cumberland said, bye-bye, Minnesota. Goodbye, Minnesota. No more Minnesota. And no more Minnesota Mavericks. The Bulls have been castrated here. And here comes W&M to finish off Muskingum just as quickly over the edge. 14 squads remaining, and we've just barely broken in to the placement points here. Semo, Apex, Ruby, they're playing the heart of zone alongside teams like Michigan. Shout out to Michigan, by the way. They are in the running for the top 5. This should get them a top 3 position at that. Meanwhile, I mean, Cumberland and USM still in the lobby. USM, they only needed, how much do they need? Cumberland, or USM only needed 6 points, so they should already be there. All right, we'll see how it goes. I'm getting my scoreboard up on the side real quick. Joe Cumberland, I've never actually seen what Zach W. Keys does while playing the game. If we get a Cumberland finish, give us some Zach W. Keys love. All right. Okay, we'll see how it goes. In the end, UB Esports here. We'll hold on for dear life as Campbell's University are finished off. Cumberland all the way to the north and Southern Miss down towards the south. The only teams not in are UB Fuel Academy, Cumberland, and W&M. Cumberland are all the way up on height there, and if I'm correct, I don't know if they've lost out on one or they're playing as a duo. It doesn't look completely correct right now. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Michigan State University holding the space, and they've got the kidnap. What are we doing? Why did we follow through on that? Oh my gosh! I don't know if it was a kidnap or abject failure, but Semo, Apex, Ruby are at their ends meet. It was a double port play into the fence line, and Michigan come up big. Here comes USM to take over the other building. We'll pop over towards the west as Kaiser Navy are holding for space here against the Cascades rotation. Meanwhile, UB Esports have just barely gotten themselves a place of safety. The interior now, they'll look towards Kaiser just as quickly as they push towards the edge. A finish from Williams against Fuel Esports out towards the east as we breach into the top 10 remaining. UB out towards the side, and a drop onto 460, meaning that Kaiser Navy are down to 2. Ursa Twan can barely get a response as the wall will push them away from 460 there. Ozek on the other angle finds the knock onto Ched to bring this back to a 2v2 exchange. But the walls are up from Dirtiest Donut. A peek around the stairwell is blasted here. One final remaining member, a port down below from behind the Newcastle Res. They'll finish him off, and UB are playing for the reset. Don't heal, you gotta hold this. Quick reset there, and MC Apex Phantom pulls this one away. They do not want to walk straight into the edge of those walls like their predecessor. Meanwhile, Zach W. Keys with a knock onto Tharkisha. Zykem with another onto Trauma. And for Purdue Black, before we can even react, it is all but the end. Michigan, you were phenomenal. You got the double kidnap, but at the end of the day, here comes USM. A final remaining. Gonna rat this one out for the final moments. Southern Miss Esports here, just trying to spell out as much space as possible to chase this final member of the Go Green squad. Here they go. We might get a little lag from Apex, but as we pass by that slideshow, I'm telling you, that's it. Hey, Koryu, thank you for using the emotes. Heart, I love you. Thank you so much. Me when I climb up on a team that has rampart walls. Oh my god, so good. MC Apex, though, their rampart walls will face the difficulty of destruction here. A couple of exchanges from both sides, and the port play will give them the opportunity to thrive. But remember, Minnesota ain't that far away themselves. Cumberland is also in the same position here, and we could be seeing the two top teams already fighting this out. MCE could pinch this. They got this building to their own, and that could do in either Minnesota or Cumberland. Southern Miss are stuck on the outside, Cumberland on the interior. And Dallas will look for a response at the same time. There's Viz playing for the exchange back onto the interiors. They'll look for Cumberland down on the low ground. MCE, a bit of a play on the edge there. They'll get a nice break over towards the side as, oh no, Dragons reach UB with a knock on Slasher. Syken is joined for Dallas, and for Cumberland, they've made it to the top 7, but I can't imagine they'll be lasting any bit longer. Another re-knock there on the dirtiest donut as UB ain't doing much better themselves. Tries to blast through the edge of zone and will find the knock on to Vize. A couple of exchanges back as Zach W. Keys is trying to finish these kills where they count. 2 banners grabbed. He's got to pull it off, but instead, a Thalas teleport finishes the job. Now they have to stick this revive, but instead, they'll stick the final nail in the coffin of UB Esports. St. Clair down south, W&M Esports alongside them, and for St. Clair, I think it's getting much better for them. Dude, more jobs. And that's it. St. Clair all but Den. No one else is a more committed viewer of Zephyr. Hey, amen, brother. Amen. You might be the hype. No, there's definitely some more committed ones. Easy points, never a doubt. Never a doubt. Never a doubt in USM. We'll see how it goes. A couple final full thirds for W&M there. As I can't believe I'm saying this, but Vez is still just barely alive. One final shot picked up there as we breach into our top 4. MCE, the likes of USM here. W&M and Williamson Gold. MCE versus USM is not the fight you want to take. Already looking for their exit out here. They can play into that same southeastern position, but you're just letting USM wrap behind you. Koryu, thank you for the 15 stream streak. Hopefully you join us in better success than Williamson Gold. Actually, Williamson Gold just wiped W&M. Shout out to them. That was baller and crunk as it gets. All right. Top 3 points on the board. Southern Miss's Mank dropping the excellent ultimate of success here. A couple of distant shots and the knuckle cluster will pin them back for now against the edge of that wall. Meanwhile, letting Williamson recover down towards the south, and you're basically setting themselves up for a push here in a moment. Viz going to take the time to reset as MCE are actually surprisingly more healthy than I expected. Yeah, no more Maple for Cumberland. That is a huge difference for their roster. They're still very good. I mean, Zach W. Keys is a threat, and I'll tell you what, Slasher and Syken still marginally good in the collegiate space, but it is tough. Even still, it is Southern Miss all day long. We'll see if they can breach into their second win of the day here. Already with shields broken off the edge of the wall, Throwender. You're walking right up into the perfect fence line situation. They have to be careful here. They cannot face a knock in this exchange. Road to M&K Competence will go down. The Sparrow ultimate is exchanged alongside them. Dallas doesn't have to pour it out yet. Instead, it is snipes from Williamson on the other side that will leave just one remaining legend alive for W or MCE. Southern Miss now beginning to turn their attention elsewhere. Shot in the back. FX671 brought low. 411 will join the Fleshbound here as shot in the back. They've got less than a second to survive. 20 health on the both of them. And for USM, we are barely struggling. A 2v2 exchange with Dallas down doesn't mean much when you've got the edge of the ultimate right in front of you. The car is good though, but it's still a 1v1 exchange. Williamson versus USM. A smoke play from behind the knocked out to get the reset as Mank will drop the knuckle cluster and point blank Reg. Tries to stick a revive, but instead will have to play down the knuckle cluster for now. 45 as we got the Phalanx on both ends of the equation here. full health on both sides as they slowly creep forward. It's a successful 48 for 201. A knuckle cluster exchange, but still the Southern Miss dub. It was but so close here. You just can't count against them. A double dub on the day. Let's take a look at that scoreboard, folks, because we are about to jump into what could be the final game of the day. Where's the passion from these competitors? Matt Stanky, they're doing the best they can. All right, let's jump over that scoreboard. Here we go. Quick refresh. Game 3 here. What are we doing? 30 points for Southern Miss. It's not as explosive as there's game 2, but 30 points is still abject, disgusting, revolting, other adjectives for revolting. Insane. GG ECAC done in 4. We might be looking at it. A shout out to Williamson Gold, though. A great job against teams like W&M. This is one of the bigger games we've actually seen from a roster. IFX 411, LFX 671, and LFX 201 do a great job at that. 23 points really isn't a slouch. Cumberland and WN down south with double digits to their name, 12 and 11 respectively. Pretty darn good. Loopy leaving Minnesota after the semester? I've not heard that, and I'd hope not, unless he's going to greener and greater gases. I don't know. Either way, not the discussion. Let's go to our prediction. I asked y'all over under 9.5 KP USM. The over is the winner. Here's the prediction of match point. Does who? Oh, all right. I wish I could do 3. Oh, I think I can do 3. Does USM or Cumberland win this game? You got 3 bets. You got 3 bets on the board. 5 minutes to go. This is the first time I've ever done a 3-way split. Here you guys go. Here you go. USM, Cumberland, or someone else. I'm asking y'all, do they win it? Get your bets in. You got 5 minutes. Because as we take a look at the overall leaderboard, the only 2 teams on match point eligible to finish the job, are Southern Miss with 74 and Cumberland with 52. It's a big return for Williamson Gold. And honestly, if they had just managed the first 2 games a little bit better, because they have a 6-point and a 2-point game at that, I mean, they would almost be right there. But instead, it is just that 23-point win that puts them all the way close to 3rd. They do surpass the likes of almost every team ahead of them. W&M fall a little bit, even though they do get a little 11 points there. That's only just because of Williamson Gold. But, I mean, here's the problem, guys. Unless Williamson Gold, WM, or maybe, I'm not even going to say MSUA. Unless W&M and Williamson Gold come through with an excellent Game 4, this might be it. Southern Miss Esports, Cumberland, you can't let them win. And so far today, the only 2 teams to win, practically the only 2 teams ever to win in ECAC, are one of these 2 rosters. Storm Point was the big choice for these teams. I wonder if they prioritized it early here because, no, World's Edge. Storm Point for Cumberland put them at Launchpad. Storm Point picked at the very end for Southern Miss, put them at Checkpoint. Once again, Checkpoint, we saw Southern Miss make that hefty rotate towards Bethany Bison out towards the north. And Cumberland really took their time here. They were unable to survive the exchange down from the north side of Mountain Lift, and we saw them meet their end at the hands of UB and Southern Miss Esport in that game. End of the day, it's going to come down to the very last moment here. Pray for good zones at that. We're going to get a little lobby reset, by the way, I can see over on my side, so we're still not in it yet. Thank you, Coascar, by the way, for the follow. Welcome to the family. I hope you enjoy as much collegiate as possible. And of course, this week is huge. I got a little ping on Discord, so I'm going to check that for half a second because I do believe it is the production. Yeah. So there is no minimum. Yeah. There is no minimum today. So whoever, if USM and Cumberland win this next game, that is it. So we only have 2 teams to watch, really. USM and Cumberland. Those are the two to really keep our eye on in this next game as we look into it. By the way, for those of you, as I will take the time to pull away to the Lewis cam, oh my God, he is so cute. Guys, look at the baby. Oh my God. He gonna get so big so fast, and then he won't be a little kitten anymore. I'm gonna be so sad. Cause he's gonna be just a little baby. He's just gonna be a little baby. Alright, we're getting back into the lobby for a second here. I'm just taking a little break. You know what? I'm gonna go grab a little bit of water here. I'll be right. More warmth to cuddle. That's such a cute way to say that. Great job today, Slasher. Good luck in that final game. Good luck. I'm gonna grab a water real quick. I'll be right back. All right. We're back at it. I wasn't aware that Zach W. Keys was carrying the boats and the logs. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Bro has 7K with 16. Where did my headphones go? Oh, they're over here. Whoops. Bro's 7K with 16 kills. He is a GOAT. Zach W. Keys is crazy. As Lewis goes for a big stretch. All right. I will don the jacket here because this is probably, I mean, I'd be shocked if this wasn't our last game. We're still not in lobby yet. For those of you, by the way, who have not been a friend of the Zephyr family here, we've got a massive week ahead. Today's just the start. It's a huge blessing once again that ECAC has let me do this. Check them out down below in either one of the PD First or the mainstream down there. They do a great job, whether it be watch parties, coverage, etc. And, you know, whatever. Massive. This week's schmassive, all right? Because tomorrow, we've got one of the final Octane Scrim days. Then, on Wednesday, we have a high school showcase, right? So we have, like, 10 high school teams playing their, like, 2 matches. So we'll jump into that. It'll be a little silly, but you know what? Next generation of Apex, let's see how it goes. After that, on Wednesday, when is that? That's going to be a little bit earlier. We usually start at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to start around 7 p.m. Eastern that day. After that on Wednesday, we go into Octane Scrims. I'll be joining them a little late. And then we go into the draft. For those I just opened PD first stream, but the first thing in his chat is Sinatra saying we're inting USM on drop. Good luck. I saw Camsville on their drop on what was Storm Point, and that did not look good. Let me join with you before scrims. All right. Why not? Why not? Why not, Limbo? I will say it is a 10-team showcase. It's gonna look a little bit. Like, you know, can you start playing cool math games? No, we're in the middle of a match point tournament. Albeit, I do love cool math games. What do you mean it's a 10-team showcase? Well, the reality is high school is so small. Like, the competitive scene for high school is so small that they don't even have enough for a 20-team lobby in a Valhalla League. So, we'll see. Which Papa's game are you playing first? Oh, I thought you just called me daddy. Kind of weird. I want to watch Peak. I don't know. Oh, that's not fun? Well, you know, I still want to see it, right? I'm very curious to see how they do and just if there's anything. And hopefully, this is the important thing, Corey. You bringing attention to their scene can help them gain, potentially, more high schools to join in, right? Think about it. Beyond that, we will go into scrims, and then the Zephyr Draft Tournament, the draft for that tournament will take place after that. There has to be more than 10 teams across high schools. Maybe I gotta start hosting a high school Apex thing, right? Maybe I start doing a little match fee, whatever, and we get high schools involved. I could do it. I've hosted massive tournaments. The outreach would be crazy. I'd have to contact a bunch of Texas schools, and I don't know. We'll see if we can make it happen. Anyways, beyond that, I thought you weren't allowed in high schools. No, what? What are you talking about? Jesus. The issue with high school isn't the interest. It's the fact that it's a rated T game, and a lot of high schools don't want to participate in games that are rated above an E. Oh, I did not know that. All right, anyways, draft for my tournament will be after that on Wednesday. And then most importantly, guys, is going to be this Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We have Octane semifinals into then Octane match point on Sunday, the height of collegiate. Next week on the 13th and 14th is my tournament, as well as Brandon Michaels, as you guys like it. That's what we got going on. The game has just barely started here. We're still waiting. Any questions before we get into it? Is joining your Discord server required? For the tournament, I would... Okay, so I, Zephyr, am hosting... Here you go, OY. OY can't hear me right now, but for OY's sake, here is the standings. There you go. I want to do listen-ins during my tournament, especially during the group stage, given how many teams there are. And the only way I can do that is by having you guys in my server, and then I literally just jump into your voice channel, right? And I think that's cool, right? I think that's a cool idea. I would love to just hear y'all's comms during the games, right? The problem with my high school esports league was the admins wouldn't allow games with guns in it, but we were allowed to compete in Smash, which was weird. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The problem with high school games and esports is the fact that it just isn't that established yet. And the reality is it's going to take some time for something like that to establish. And the problem alongside that is it really takes some very, very aggressive outreach, right? You guys know how I sit here and literally contact all of you for my tournament, and that's how you get 180 players in it. You still have to send 180 messages, right? So, is Mank playing tonight? Here's his answer. There's Mank right there. 12 kills, 6k damage. Dallas and Viz are kind of carrying hard. Sad to see MSU in 9th. Yeah, I mean, they had a second place finish. That's not bad. It's just these other two games have been stinkers. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. Yeah, they really don't like gun smashes. Well, I'll consider it. I'll reach out to, who knows? I might just facilitate during an organizer. And like I said, the high school showcase is for fun. Who knows? It might help out. By the way, Bangalore is banned here. No more smoke on play. The picks on the board will prioritize the Altar, the Sparrow, and the Wraith with a couple of new castles there. There is some surprising play around the Ash on the board and a couple smidges of things like a random Revenant, Mirage, etc. But here we go, guys. The potential final game of the day. It can either go Cumberland, it can either go Southern Mississippi. Cumberland and Launchpad, Southern Mississippi and Checkpoint.
That's a great landing.
See how it finishes. Fortnite has guns on my soul I will say, I did a massive high school tournament with Fortnite, so guns are definitely not the answer. I feel like high school esports could do better if schools are not contacted. Okay, I will say, Dream, I guess that's an idea, but also at the same time, at that point, I'm hosting an under 18 tournament. Like, that's the only way to describe it. Like, the rule for the tournament is you have to be in high school, which feels really sketchy. Like, that just feels weird. Hey, you can join my tournament, but you have to be under 18. I'll tell you what, there will never be a time I don't feel uncomfortable talking to a minor. Just become 18, bro. The first 18 years of your life, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. High school is barely funded. He's so okay, it makes sense, Zephyr. What does a guy like me need to be doing? Hey kids, you want to play? Hey kids, you want to play Apex Legends? You want to get in on my Apex Legends competition, guys?
Found the shield battery here.
That's horrible. Oh, that's horrible. I'm sorry. Well, Cumberland's completely alone all the way down there. Remember, before this game started, Campbell University said they were going to int Cumberland, but first they got to make it there, all the way from the northeastern side of the launch site area. I mean, they're going to have to run and gun it all the way down past the Fuel Esports into Launchpad if you want to get it. Put this guy on the list. No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't put me on the list. I don't want to be anywhere near the list. All right. Purdue Black here from up on high. Stormcatcher. Long range doesn't end up with Nox. Sheila out for Barquisha here, and from behind the rock, you've got an opportunity for Nox. Here we go. Sheila out and playing. You gotta hope you're getting that Newcastle. Maybe a commit to a low ground sometime soon here. But remember, with so many altars in the lobby, you have a lot of chances for recovery. Oh, Zek already brought down. Cracks on the backside. Trauma's got to hit those. Instead, he is going to send it. Tharquisha down to the low ground just as quickly. And they are finding knock for knock with Ursa Twan, the final remaining member, running for the hills here afar. And Purdue's going to put themselves back up on height while they can. Oh. Big success for Purdue Black as we take a look at that other rotate. Here's a problem, guys. I feel like all the ECAC teams need to realize, let's not fight each other, and let's leave as many teams alive to contest Cumberland and Southern Miss. Let's not screw each other over. All right? Because the more teams that start killing each other that ain't Cumberland and that ain't Southern Miss, the more likely you're screwed. Dallas here is a big separation away, but he does have the altar teleport if necessary. Granted, I don't even think it would reach. You can't tell me Southern Miss is taking this seriously when Dallas is this... Guys, Dallas is literally a whole POI away from his team. The rest of his squad is in Ferrari, and he is solo peeking OCC. Our Joker _1... Or RJ Oker, Okayer. It's probably RJ. Thank you so much for the follow, man. We're gonna see Dallas point blank send it. Already with the couple of damage down. He's got double cracks back, but I can't imagine this team ain't going to turn around. It's a knock on to KU Lions, and there is still no other Southern Miss here. Finally, we will get an additional roster member. But you've got to be kidding me. A leap up the height there will bring Dallas low, and you have to pray he doesn't go down. Another big burn will send Valhalla packing, runs into the edge of the building, and finally, it's a knock. Mank is here to play, though, as a Sparrow ultimate will pressure OCCC back, and the rest of Southern Miss is around the bend here, but it's a 3v2 situation. Dallas for recovery with the port back up on height. Mank still down below in this exchange. Oh, we got to go back to that fight. I hope we do. I mean, I know Cumberland is here. Williams and Cumberson, oh so close. Well, as we jump back in over towards OCCC, it is a nice recovery for Mank and them. And already down here. A couple of drops on a Kipper and a Valhalla means one final remaining member. And you know, port play back onto the inside as that soft reset of the R99 comes through as good as it could be. The portal is going to stop them from breaching through the door, but Dallas is trying to enter from the other side. Even still, Wraith out over towards the other end is pinned from all angles. PSU are here, though. Out towards the side, they could try to quote-unquote third-party this. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. Southern Miss towards the outskirts, as far south as possible. PSU still on the inside, though. Dallas is alone in this building, but really, is that much pressure at that? Mank on the other side, finally. And they are just pincering. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we're literally... Guys, are we not just counting the end of PSU here? Like, we know they're basically done. The nade doesn't really represent the USM, but, I mean, there you go. One quick peek. There goes D-Res. Little drill from underneath. You might not find purchase, but USM are more than happy to get these full thirds. Teleport up above as they will port play out towards the south side, and Southern Miss are going to commit for this. They are going to take this port. Already, though, PSU has run for recovery, but a long-range shot from Dallas will send Awful Yo guys packing, and the rest of PSU are just barely towards the end of the station. By the way, Zach W. Keys with a knock on to FX there will send Williams some gold back to the pylon. It's a race for the top two right now. Yes, this is a dumb push. I wouldn't even be fighting with the conditions of the server, to be honest. It doesn't make sense. What's happening with servers? They're just being kind of clunky today. Someone tell OY that, because he can't hear me. Yeah, there's a ton of desync on a lot of the servers today. And it's... I mean, we're getting desync. They're getting desync. Everybody's getting desync. Now, final zone is going to be pulling towards the barometer southern side here. Cumberland does have the better rotation towards it right now, but the reality is no one is particularly set up in barometer in a way that will stop a team from getting there. It's St. Clair Saints and MCE. The rotate for Cumberland is a little hard, but I would still be hard-pressed not to see them successfully rotate towards this barometer zone. All right? Even still, oh, wow. We are a Bloodhound in play. And by Bloodhound, I mean the dog, sniffing this one out. A Wazzy there. Really good catch on the edge. I believe that was, I mean, I didn't see it. Yeah. Hard shrimp. I want to see an Apex tournament where the game runs at 45 speed. I don't. I want to see a blind Apex tournament. I genuinely want to see everyone tie a little thing around their eyes and play blind. I played Apex blind. It's horrible. You playing Apex with ears only? I'll say this. I'd love to do a blind Apex tournament. One person blind. The other person is commanding them. Right? Make these rules for your tournaments. Do special rounds. No, we'll do like community events. Would you guys be interested in doing community events even if they're non-Apex related? So like Battlefield, Gartic Telephone, Among Us, etc.
the enemy.
Time to add Fortnite visual cues for audio. Alright, Williamson Gold, Campbell University trying to rotate out of the pylon here. Mind you, Cumberland did get into zone, the heart of the northern side. This is not a convert to the end game, but hey, they got themselves a Kraber underway here. USM are alongside them on the bridge. Dak WPs is safe. I just want you. This place, I just want you to drink. Alright?
Target there.
You follow us.
Never mind.
We'll do community units. 16 squads remaining, and the majority are holding on for dear life to play into this Barometer end zone. Barometer can house just about all of them. We still have a lot of the northern side, but for PSU, they're facing early knocks that stink, the extra stank from Southern Miss. Even if they aren't playing for the double dubs here, they already found knock response. Here's the problem, though. Make is down, and we know for a fact Cumberland ain't that far away. There's an aggressive commit here over on the side, and eventually it will punch them back. Dallas on the other angle will finish the job and send PSU packing, and by the grace of God, they will be able to get this revive off towards the west because there is no one close enough to send them away. 15 squads remaining, 2 of them match point eligible.
Max level. Choice.
Someone's got to punish here. All right. There we go. W&M, Bethany Bison, Williamson, Muscom, MSU, UB, and Katawa are all outside of zone. None of them have made it to Barometer, and we are still playing for the edge. None of them are match point eligible right now, but they are fighting for it. Bethany Bison taking their time against W&M. They've looked good, but they will look worse. Mystic with a long-range knot. For Rye Dugstar and Thoric Spinks, you've got to play for your survivability. Current mod down to the waters of the depths might be drowning out here in a second as the Bethany Bisons could clean things up here in a second. Rye Dugster and Thoric Spinks have turned this one around and are looking towards that Bethany Bison roster to see if they can finish the job. By the way, Purdue Black, they're not even in zone. They're still outside of zone. We'll take a look at Southern Miss. This nut building is one they've sent before, and they'll do again. This is a bit far forward, and Dallas is separated here, but it really is just a port play ahead. Just about, why did we take the, oh, I guess you're done. Well, not much of a big success there. It looks like Catawba Esports from the east or western side were unable to set themselves up, and they run straight into Southern Miss. Try and play from that building, but are caught out on all angles. W&M Esports, Williamson Gold, and Muskingham gonna have to make their way through the northern side, and they'll pick up a couple of extra KP as they do so. For Purdue Black, all the way from the north off of reset, are never able to find their footing there. That'll be it for them as we breach into the top 14 remaining. 1/7 of these teams are match point eligible, folks. It is looking closer and closer to a game 4 finish. St. Clair up on height. Campsville in the center. I will say, one of the biggest saving graces is that Cumberland is very close to USM. Zach W. Keys finds a beautiful Kraber shot there, but it is against an altar.
Watch out. Enemy here. Let's go there. I have
Cumberland does a great job. Remember, this is a, oh my God. This is a pull directly to the edge. Southern Miss is the only team in zone right now. And I'll be honest with you, Cumberland barely has a rotate at that to get involved. Bethany Bison, we saw how successful they were on their take against W&M. They'll try to finish the job here in Pylon. Remember, Campbell University and SCC not far away from the exchange. A big zip line up above will barely find its purchase as Awazi doesn't get what they need. For Minnesota, they are on the run to survive. And for the St. Clair Saints, they miss out on what could have been an easy fresh thing. No cash prize for this. Most teams are more new to comp. I do know that. But hey, realistically, in most sports, we should just be playing for the glory right now, guys. You know? Gotta play for the love, the faith, passion. Some of these people are playing for passion only. That's how it should always be. Alright? Passion is what drives the heart. Peace and love. No, I'm kidding. Zach W. Keys with a long-range knock on to the Fuel roster as UB Esports are neck and neck alongside USM, rotating behind them here. I know if USM know this, but we can hear a little bit of that port play action from the other side. Southern Miss gets themselves set up in the nut building, and this isn't the best situation for them, right? You are choked out potentially by any one of these rosters. It's going to allow them to survive the onslaught of barometer rotations, but I'd really like to see them finish the job. Here we go. UB Esports, they're going to opt to play into the nut building here, up to height, surprisingly. And that really throws off what should have been their assault. As a result, they never really even get to play into the fight there. I don't think they meant to have that teleport up towards the height. This will drop the ultimate, but it doesn't mean for much. Make has to play this one a little bit safely. He's getting sniped far and out away, which I can only assume might be Cumberland here. Still, one remaining member and another ultimate from a different team to pressure Ched back there. Into zone they'll go, and well, for them, UB is out of this world. Cumberland from the east, Southern Miss from the west, Michigan replacing UB's position as we'll jump on over to Cumberland. Kraber in the hand will find its purchase on Slasher's neck. Stuck in the corner with nowhere to go. You've got a 4-team stack out here towards the east. If Cumberland win this, it is an onslaught of success ahead that they need to have here. Woo! Big chunk of damage and a heady on the backside. You're not going to be able to find the edge of that, but the drill from Sykim is so good. That'll force them out of the corners. Now Slasher's going to look for the edge of this building. Quick peek from behind the Newcastle wall. Won't find much as Zach W. Keys gets shot out just as quickly from afar. Back barely to the corner here. And for Cumberland, they are reeling with the pressure of these 4 squads. Meanwhile, Southern Miss trying to barely play out of this building. They do not have a position in zone. Neither match point teams have a position in zone right now. They both have to fight for it. Cumberland is a little bit better, but not much at that. Looks like Southern Miss lost out on just barely one there. Zach with a nice full wipe on the Bean Chili. 7 squads remaining, and we will look to finish the height here. The height is slightly in, and there we go. Zach W. Keys with the first knock drop. A quick revive from the castle. Won't find purchase here as Campbell University gets dwarfed by the Cumberland roster. St. Clair are down below, but here they go for the send. St. Clair are punishing. It's a massive beam, but just as quickly, Cumberland shred through the competition. St. Clair looked good, but they weren't good enough here. Up on height, they are still put together. Southern Miss, meanwhile, in the action, have lost out on one. The full thirst from afar. Phantom gets the knock on the Mank. They're going to pull the mobile res out here, and we are down to the final moments of this game. Bethany on the bridge, MCE on the other side. A beautiful knock from the likes of Zach W. Keys, as that will be Bethany wiped out. 4 squads remaining, 2 match point eligible. We never could get USM back into it. And for Cumberland Apex, this is as good as it gets. Here's the problem though. Cumberland are gonna lose out on this height. They do not have this height for the complete end game here. Meanwhile, long range knocks again on Southern Mississippi. It is just Thalys. Gonna try to put this together on top of the bridge. Should get Viz back into play here. This could be the Cumberland dub. You have to wonder, by the way, the only team who can win this game successfully at this point is MCE Apex, and they have got an onslaught to deal with. There's a port play from Cian to get the re-knock onto Viz. A couple big climb-ups from MCE as they'll whip the edge of that ultimate. Re-knocks again as MCE will face their first knockdown. Newcastle res on the edge of that port as they got that long run exchange. Southern Miss just down the Thalys and sniped from Zach W. Keys. We're down to the final moments. Cumberland have taken the bridge. MCE are down below. Minnesota are going to try for the late game reset as Phantom will go down. A full commit onto MCE, and you have to hope they can get these thirsts successfully in for the zone for one. A final member around the bend, and it is one team standing in the way here of a Cumberland dub. How many players are left alive for Minnesota? How many remain? The drill up above, a peek around the side, Sykin low. but they take their time. How many are alive for Minnesota? There's a scan on the Sparrow, a peek towards the edge, and a massive break from Slasher. Everybody from the Mavericks are still in it. Late game reset, up from height, peeks from both angles. Slasher doesn't get any knees. Zach W's from the other side. A knock on the Speed Demon. It's just as bad from the knockdown shield. That's it for Schmalz. And with Gravity last one, Cumberland Apex are your winners of ECAC.
We have our Apex champions.
Congratulations to the Cumberland squad. Do we have a Cumberland fight song? Beep, 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 beep. Guys, come on. You guys gotta have a fight song. Alright, well, we might not have a direct fight song. I love them. But congratulations to the Cumberland squad there. It was a daunting day. In the end, I think the over-aggression from Southern Miss comes to bite them back. They do finish with more points, but they just couldn't survive that rotation out of that building. I knew it was going to get hard there, but Slasher interview? Why not? Why not? Slasher, you want to do a little interview? W. Cumberland. Here. I'm going to call Slasher. Unless you want someone else to do the interview. Hey!
I'd love to interview, but to be honest with you, Zach deserves the interview more, bro. Went crazy that game with the Kraber.
All right. I love you, though. Great job today, man. All right, no response. Zach.
Hello.
How you doing, brother?
Not too shabby.
No, not too shabby.
Doing pretty well. Not too shabby.
All right. I think chat can agree you're probably the definitive MVP of this series today. Let me read you a couple stats here because you definitely popped off. 25 kills, the second highest damage at 9,542. A massive chunk of downs, the most in the lobby, and ultimately one of the best players I've seen, probably rookie of the year for Apex Legends. How has the journey been? Because correct me if I'm wrong, this is one of your first semesters in collegiate, right?
Yeah, this is my first semester in college, so yeah, it's my first time playing collegiate.
Wow.
It's been fun. It's been a blast.
Did you have any prior experience before jumping into collegiate this year, or no?
I actually played tier 2 for about 2.5 years. But came close to Pro League a couple times. Almost won PSQ number 4 in Quadriland, but unfortunately was 1 point off. But yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, experience or not, collegiate is definitely a different beast. And you came through, you represented. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, the first win for Cumberland this year, correct? Match point.
Match point, yes, it is.
Yeah, not your first series win.
That's yeah.
Do you think there was any big?
The other match point scrims we've done haven't been the greatest. I will say the match point scrims we've done, not the most kind of anticlimactic. I'll put it that way.
I was about to say yesterday you guys were in a match point scrims and you were only able to pick up a single win on the very final game before we did shut them down early. I mean, how does that sit in your mind before you go into the official tournament the next day, you know?
I mean, kind of just you learn more from doing bad than you do doing good. So I mean, kind of worked out.
Yeah, I would say it worked out.
kind of worked out.
Now, I mean, this is something I'm super curious about because it, you know, a big part of the growing pains for this roster has been that switch up from Naval.
Dang, let's go.
Yeah,
I got my director behind me. It's great.
Great job for Cumberland. You can give my congrats there. I will say, like I said, a big growing pain for this roster has been that switch up from Maple early on to getting Sykin in there. How has that been, especially since it's a very recent thing for you guys to evolve into, especially this close to the end of semester?
I mean, we had to change up some things like legend wise or like legend roles and just kind of how we play in general. But I mean, Charlie's been doing pretty good at like learning different legends and actually learn how to position better. I know at the start his positioning was kind of not the greatest, but over the course of like scrims and stuff, he's gotten a lot better at positioning. He's learned legends that probably should not have been on, but he's learned them and has done pretty good at them. So I mean, it worked out.
Yeah, I mean,
it did not go as bad as it could have been.
No, you guys did absolutely phenomenal here. And I guess the final question I really have for you is Octane. Octane is coming up this weekend. What's the vibe? What is you guys now have ECAC on your belt here, but Octane is obviously a completely different competition. We did see what happened with y'all coming out of the premier match point finals where you guys were oh so close. I might have raged a little bit, but in the end, how are you guys feeling before we get into that final opportunity there?
That play was not as bad as you thought it was. Watch it back. Anyway,
yeah. Shut up.
I think we are feeling pretty. I think we're feeling pretty confident. I mean, this showed that we can win a match point finally, and I think we can carry it over to the weekend.
Would you say the pressure's a little bit relieved now? It's always getting over the first match point is definitely always the biggest hump in collegiate.
I mean, I knew it would come eventually. I mean, I know exactly when it would come, but I mean, it would come eventually, and I mean, it happened today, so not really too much pressure.
Well, hey, there you go. I want to give you one last final congratulations. Congratulate your teammates. Congratulate all of Cumberland. It has been a journey for you all this semester, and I genuinely cannot wait to see your future in the competitive ecosystem.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. A little teensy interview there with the main man himself. MVP of the day, by all means, for me. I want to actually cry. I feel gutted that I couldn't be here, but I'm so glad to see Sykin step in and see time. There you go. Love from Maple to finish off the job. We come to the final moment. Does he know Zach is transferring to CSU? I do know. I do know he's transferring because I saw him post the LFT thing. Still, he's going to have a future in collegiate. Not alongside Cumberland, but definitely within the space. And I'm very curious to see how that continues to develop here. And we don't get many transfers. The last transfer we had was Trev Michi, and that ended up with a... Where are we right now? I mean, a 6th place finish without Trev, but, chaos there. All right, guys. Big dubs on the day for Cumberland. Southern Miss right there in 2nd place. WM Esports just barely clips 3rd on the N. Williams a goal for 33. Bethany Bison 27. And we'll talk about the rest of these teams maybe on a different date. It is going to be a spring semester that awaits them for their potential success. As for the rest of us, we'll look at Lewis's twitchy feet here. I want to thank you for showing up and showing your support to the very first of hopefully many ECAC broadcasts as we continue to develop this competition in the collegiate space. Of course, tomorrow we have scrims for Octane. Wednesday, we have a high school showcase, scrims, and the draft. Of course, following suit onto the weekend, semifinals and finals for Octane. You definitely, and I mean this so aggressively, you definitely won't want to miss what I have in store for here on finals. Pull this away. Thank you guys so much. Let's look for a little quick raid. Who should we raid? Beep, beep, beep. I am a sheep. Beep, beep, beep. I am a sheep. And one from Collegiate. Panic? Alright, why not? I'll take you guys over to Panic. Panic Apex. There you go. Well, thank you guys so much. Hopefully we'll see more of you. Tune in this week for all the collegiate you can count on. Follow. Stay up to date with me primarily on Twitter or X. That's where I drop the most consistent updates. As for that, I'll see you then.